Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to learn about another exciting component of promotion. Yes, we are going to try and decide which media to choose for your product promotion. So make sure you get out your notes, follow the STORM philosophy, sit back, and enjoy. Okay, so today we are going to look back on the promotional process and really try and identify where in the promotional process do selecting the media fit in. We're then going to look at how do you choose media, what do you need to look at. Then we're going to look at those 8 factors that marketers use to determine media. And lastly, we will compare advertisements using these factors. So a quick review of the promotional process. From intent through message to media to reception to action. With intent, it's all about the promotional goals. What do you hope to achieve? With message, how do you connect with your consumers? What appeal do you connect with them? And with media, this is what we're going to look at today. Before we get into the different types of media, we have to look at the factors used to determine the type of advertising media. So recognizing that we are at the stage of media in the promotional process, we really need to determine what is advertising. Advertising is a form of promotion. We use advertising to encourage or persuade an audience to continue or take some action. So we're trying to get them to purchase our product, to go out and look for our product, or to continue using our product. And that's what we look at with promotional goals. Now, advertising can be done in 2 ways, either through audio means or through visual means. And we'll get to the various forms of advertising media in the next video. So today we'll focus on determining which media to choose. In order for the marketing team to create the advertisement, they can only do so after they've decided on the type of media to carry the message. And therefore, they need to determine which media type will convey their message best. And therefore, we look at various factors to choose the media. One of the things that you have to conduct when you're determining a media is you need to conduct a media analysis. And you need to ask a number of questions. Some of these questions are, who are your potential consumers? Because if you have a target market, then that target market probably has various psychographic characteristics that will have them looking at or watching or listening to various different types of media. So we have to identify is their reading habits, or if television, for their watching habits. How many times does the advertiser wish the potential customer to see the advertisement? If they want to see it a lot, then different media is best for that. And how great of a percentage of the market do they wish to reach? So how much of your target market do you wish to reach? Again, that can be done more effectively using a specific type of media. So the factors marketers use to determine media are reach, frequency, selectivity, durability, lead time, mechanical requirements, clutter, and costs. Now let's look at these each in specific detail. So the first factor is reach, and this is how many people are exposed to your message, otherwise known as how many people does your media advertisement reach. So when we're talking about reach, we often look at media rating scales. In television and radio, they express reach in terms of audience, or as a percentage of the number of people who are watching television or listening to the radio. So if you think about television, and you take a survey of how many people have their television sets on, and then you take a look at how many people are watching your program, that gives you a percentage, and that is a reach, or a percentage rating for reach. The next factor is frequency, and this refers to the number of times an audience will see or hear an advertisement over a period of time. If you take a billboard, for example, and you post it on a heavily trafficked route, then those people who are commuting to and from work on that same route will see that billboard twice a day. If you're able to put a billboard in various locations around a city, then you will expose the same consumer to the same message a number of times a day, and that's highly frequent. The internet, for instance, can also increase frequency by posting the same advertisement on various websites that the same type of consumer will go to. And magazines can have a high frequency if They are kept and stored, and people regularly refer back to the magazine and therefore see the advertisement. Some radio advertisements can have a low frequency depending on how many spots they purchase throughout the day. Some advertisers will buy a number of spots. So a spot in the, let's say, morning rush hour, a spot in the, let's say, rush hour coming home, a spot during the day, a spot at night. This can increase their frequency on the radio. Selectivity is the next one. This refers to the ability of a media to focus on a specific target market. Remember, every product has a specific target market, and so effective advertising is when you are able to target that specific consumer. For instance, magazines. There are various magazines out there that has a very specific interest. So a, let's say, soccer magazine will carry advertisements of soccer products and companies that sell soccer type products or services. That would be very selective for those companies. Whereas if those companies were to create a television advertisement and put it on just any general channel, that wouldn't be very selective and it might not be that effective. Door-to-door flyers can be very selective because of geography. If you're trying to target a very specific geographic consumer, then you can go directly to their door and focus on a very specific neighborhood. Durability refers to how long the advertisement lasts. If you take newspapers, for instance, newspapers only last for 24 hours or less. They're not very durable. Magazines can last for a little bit longer because, again, people will keep these magazines. Television and radio programs, they have very low durability unless, of course, you PVR these shows and you re-watch them. However, specialty type advertising, so advertisements that appear on water bottles or bags or pens or keychains, those can last for a very long time because consumers will keep those types of products. Lead time refers to how fast the advertisement can be prepared and ready to air. Advertisements that appear in newspapers, well, those don't need a lot of preparation. They can instantly be put together and go into the newspaper. Advertisements for magazines, however, require a little bit more time because there's a lot more proofing and editing and color to be added to it and so on and so forth. Television, radio advertisements, these require a lot of time. And so sometimes advertisers will create two different advertisements for television if they're trying to take advantage of a special event. Take the Olympics last year. Advertisers had commercials ready to air as soon as a Canadian won a gold medal in their sport. Then they would air the advertisement. It wasn't that they instantly created that advertisement, it was that they prepared it long ago and had it ready to go. Various different medias have very different lead times. Mechanical requirements refer to the complexity of creating the advertisement. A television advertisement, a television commercial, is very complex. You need a studio, you need to add sound to it and sound effects and so on and so forth. A radio advertisement, if you think about it, really all you need is a microphone. And there's various commercials out there where the producer, the company, the person who's in charge of the company, their radio advertisement is literally them phoning into the radio station and recording their voice. Clutter refers to how much competition there is for your attention. There can be two types of clutter, internal and external clutter. Internal clutter has to do with the advertisement competition with other advertisements. So a advertisement within a newspaper or a magazine. Are there advertisements surrounding this? That's internal clutter. External clutter refers to the activity happening around the audience. So if you're sitting at home watching a commercial and your parents are trying to talk to you and you're trying to read a book and so on and so forth, that's all external clutter. And that can be just as ineffective for marketers as internal clutter. Costs? Well, this is obvious. This is how much the advertisement costs to run. Now, this is not just the amount of money it takes in preparing the advertisement, but also paying for the space or the time for the media to run the advertisement. And production costs can vary tremendously even with the same medium. If you're airing an ad during the Super Bowl, as mentioned in class, that's going to cost you millions of dollars. However, if you air that same ad at, 1 o'clock in the morning, that's going to be far cheaper. And that has to do with the amount of audience who are watching the ad. So ads can vary in cost in terms of the type of media and the time of day, time of year, the special event that's going on, and all sorts of other factors. So now that we've identified the 8 factors we use to compare advertisements, we can now take a look at each of the different types of media. And we can see that various different types of media are better in regards to certain factors. And this is what marketers use when they're trying to decide which media to choose. If they're trying to really get out there and reach a number of consumers, well then something like specialty advertisements are not that effective. Whereas direct-to-home or out-of-home advertisements can be very effective. And so looking at these numbers, you can really determine which media is best for your product and your advertisement. Well, this brings us to the end of our video for today. So let's ask ourselves a couple questions. Which of the 8 factors would a small business care about the most? And are certain factors more important for certain products? So consider these questions. Make sure you have your notes organized, you've summarized them, you've added your own discussion questions, and you're prepared to present those in your groups tomorrow. And that's it, that's all, that's everything. We'll see you tomorrow.